At the weekend, Jody at Big Red EDC did a little tag for show your SAK. Well, SAK, if for those who are not initiated, is short for Swiss Army knife. Now I've got about 10 of them. Several of them have never been out their boxes. I bought some of the limited edition ones. I've got the red ALOX set and a little black ALOX classic that I bought them when they were limited editions. I've never taken them out of their boxes. They may one day be of some value, or they may not, but I don't need them, so they stay in the boxes. And I've got a small number that I use, but there are two in particular that I'm going to show you today. There are ones that I carry pretty much every day. One lives on my keychain, one lives in my bag, and then I always have, usually in my bag there's a knife, and then I've usually got one in my pocket. The one that's on my keychain, little baby, is this. Now, people will look at it and they will immediately assume that it is a classic SD, and in fact the one that was before it was a classic SD, and the classic SD has a pair of scissors, a small knife and a little file. Now, because of the way rules are in this country, the UK, it is a blooming nightmare. You can, if you're in a school or certain public buildings, you can be arrested for having a knife, even if it's a classic SD with a 1-inch or whatever it is blade. But I'm particularly fond of Swiss Army knife scissors, so this has the scissors on one side, and on the other it's very small. It makes it difficult for my hands to use it, but use it we must. And on the other side, instead of having a blade and a file, it has this little multi-tool. Multi-tool in this case, the bottle opener, a wire stripper, not desperately useful, a Phillips screwdriver on the end. I think that's it. That is it. And then on the end of the knife, you have the usual tweezers on one side and toothpick on the other. Now, in some ways, the reason for carrying this knife is for those two items, but it also means that when I go into, let's say, certain buildings, I can leave my knife or knives in the car, and I take this in, and I've still got a wee pair of scissors. I've got something to cut something with. It's not ideal in a perfect world, but this isn't a perfect world. This is the United Kingdom today. So anyway, I carry that. The other one that I carry is this. It's either this or the Climber. Now this one here is called the Pioneer X, and it is very much a favourite of mine. It's the ALOX finish, so instead of the Celador plastic, which is available in a number of colours incidentally. I have a black one, I have a blue one, I think the rest are all red, but you can get them in a whole load of colours, including camouflage if that's your bent. But I quite like the ALOX ones, and again the ALOX ones are available in lots of colours, but the standard colour is silver with the red shield on it. They come with a slightly bigger blade than the standard knives. It's not only very slightly longer, but it's actually quite a bit thicker. Now they're still fairly thin, and they're still very good cutters. They have the particular advantage of with the steel being relatively soft. You can get them up to a screaming razor edge in no time, very easily. And then you have to watch them cut yourself, because you've only just got to touch yourself and it will cut you. But the edge doesn't last long, so it's not really used. I don't think it's very good as an everyday knife. That's why I always carry a knife as well. But the other tools on here are quite useful. So we have here, let's get that out of the way, see what I can open on camera. I'm getting better at this, but I shall say that just as I fail. We have an awl. Now the awl, unlike the Celador knives, is sharp. It's got a proper sharp edge on it and a really screaming sharp point, which is great. I mean, if you want to make a hole in your belt or something, this is a tool to go and find. It's, you know, sometimes Swiss Army knives and multi-tools are things you use because you haven't got the right tool. This is actually a tool that you might actually go and dig out because it is actually good for the job. So that's the back layer. Now in a Celador knife you'd have a second blade there, and then it all would be on the back somewhere. There's no tools on the back of these ones. These are just now the front we have the standard we call opening layer. Now there's a screwdriver, a good half stop. It's got good stops on this knife in general. I mean, they're quite stiff. I mean, it's my hands that make it look inoperable, but they are actually quite good knives. So you've got a large flat blade screwdriver, bottle opener, something I do find quite useful. Even twist off tops, I find I use that because my hands don't work. And you got this little wire stripper. I genuinely, I think I've never ever used the wire stripper, ever. Could be wrong there, but I don't remember ever using it. And then on the other side of that, oops, try and do this as close to on camera as I can. Can't get my nail in it. There. We have can't open it. Almost. Here we have the can opener and the little baby screwdriver, which is supposed to also be usable as a Phillips screwdriver. Now that would make it a Pioneer if that was all we had. What makes it a Pioneer X is the addition of nearly. I'm so nearly there. Right, so the addition of Swiss Army knife scissors. Now, I like Swiss Army knife scissors. They're actually quite sharp and they work quite well. Springs are a bit dodgy, but you can replace them quite easily. You do have to make sure when you fold these knives up, just make sure that the spring goes in properly and it doesn't get caught one side or other of this bar, because if it does, you can end up bending the spring. But that's what makes it a Pioneer X. Now there are a whole series of Pioneer knives that are variations on the theme of the opening layer and the knife and all. They're fairly consistent. There is one called the Electrician, which replaces, I think it's the can opener, with a hooked blade, like a small hawk bill or pruner blade, just a small one. Then there is the Farmer, which replaces the scissors with a saw. Now, if you're going into the woods, that saw might be useful, but frankly, if you're going into the woods, what are you taking that for? Take a decent knife. If that's your thing. But I like scissors. I suppose I've got the scissors on my Jetsetter, so maybe I don't need that. Anyway, that's enough of that. Enough nonsense. These are the two that I carry pretty much all the time. I've got one in my bag and one on my keyring, and then I've got another knife which usually in my bag is this one, or it's carbon fibre brothers. It's the Enzo PK70, which is now officially unobtainable. I think if you can find one in a dealer anyway, buy it, because it's been discontinued. They promise they're not going to make any more, and it is, to my mind, the best compromise UK EDC. Just the right sort of length of blade. It's 69mm long. It's just the right side of the law. There is no equivocation about it. It's made of S30V steel. It's super sharp. It's got, to my mind, the best shape of a blade. Feels good in the hand. It's got a deep pocket clip. Not the most attractive pocket clip. And it was available when it was available in a number of finishes. Full G10, G10 and titanium, birch, carbon fibre, and green micarta, which was quite nice. Anyway, enough of that nonsense. This was really about Swiss Army knives. They are my Swiss Army knives. I've shown you my SAK. Bye.